Thursday night football. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Denver to take on the Broncos today. I got my favorite player prop, spread pick, same game parlay, and a first touchdown scorer. Look, I know this isn't the sexiest matchup on paper, but wait till next week. You'll be wishing we had this matchup. Just go look at the schedule. It's Bears versus Commanders. But let's dive into it. We've been crushing the books in primetime this year. Let's continue to do so. Last week on Thursday and Monday Night Football, the two primetime games went 4-0. Let's go do that again. I appreciate you guys for coming out to the video. Thank you guys again. My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. We appreciate you guys for hitting that subscribe button down below. The next milestone, 50,000 subscribers. We appreciate everyone out there. Thank you all for the support. Drop a like too. We certainly would appreciate it. Comment down below your favorite pick for this game. And without further ado, before I hop into it, I do want to mention I did post my 3 favorite spread picks for Sunday's slate in the NFL. You can go check that out. The thumbnail looks exactly like this one. Was just posted right before this video. We've been hitting spreads at a 72% clip so far this year. Let's continue that momentum. And then my last note for you guys, if you're interested and you're a new user to DraftKings, if you sign up using our link down below in the description, you deposit and you just bet $5 on any money line for college football or for NFL. All the team has to do is win, and you get $200 worth of free bets. It doesn't have to be on the Broncos or the Colts. Bet on any team. The biggest favorite, the Bills this weekend. It doesn't matter. Once they win, $200 worth of free bets. Go check that out. All the details in the description. But my favorite player prop for this game will be Parris Campbell. I'm taking his over 20.5 receiving yards, minus 110. On points bet. Now, before you Google who Parris Campbell is, he's a Colts wide receiver, and give me just a second to explain why I like his receiving yards over this week. Now, Michael Pittman Jr. obviously is the big name wide receiver for the Colts, and you could bet on like the Judys or the Cortland Suttons, but I see a lot of value here in Mr. Parris Campbell, and there's a lot of these low lines for these Colts wide receivers. One of them is going to hit it pretty easily, and I'm hoping that guy's going to be Parris Campbell. Let's talk about the news. Jonathan Taylor is out for this game. That was announced on Wednesday, and Phillip Lindsay is going to fill in, the ex-Bronco and the native of Colorado. He's going to fill in and probably take some snaps. Nyheim Hines will be out there. Deion Jackson as well. But moral of the story is they're not going to have as much success on the ground as they would have with Jonathan Taylor. Although, let's be honest, they didn't really have a lot of success through 4 weeks so far. So I think they're going to lean on the pass game a little bit more, and they're going to need to get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands pretty quickly, because if they don't, he's probably going to get sacked and he's going to fumble, which I believe he has 9 fumbles on the year. You look at the average depth of target for these Colts wide receivers. Alec Pierce, who's going to play a lot of snaps, 13.5 yards per target. Michael Pittman Jr., only 6.2. The lowest on the team. Parris Campbell, 3.7 yards per target. So if you're going to snap the ball and throw the ball pretty quick, a lot of those targets might be going to Parris Campbell, who finds a way to get open, and they like to target him on those short throws. And while we are counting on receiving yards, we need the ball in Parris Campbell's hands before he can at least get those yards for us. And Campbell's playing a lot of snaps. 77.4% of snaps so far this season, over 67% in all 4 weeks. And you look at last week, Campbell crushed this line. 43 receiving yards, and he had 20 air yards. So they finally started attacking him down the field, so throwing it to him deeper than, 3.7 yards per target. But you look at his receptions line. I kind of like to look at his other lines and see exactly where the books kind of think Campbell's going to finish. His receptions line sitting at over 1.5 for like minus 210 juice. Look, they fully expect him to get 2 or more receptions, and if in games that he's had 2 or more receptions, he hit the over in 8 of 11 such games in his career this season. 10 wide receivers have 2 or more receptions versus the Broncos. 9 of them have hit this over. Look, with a short week to prepare, I imagine the Broncos' priorities are going to be on Pat Surtain, guard Michael Pittman Jr. They're going to watch Nyheim Hines out of the backfield and probably look at those Colts tight ends that are very tall and that they're just going to be crossing over the field. I don't think Parris Campbell's going to be number 1 on their list of things to watch out for with this Colts offense. All we need is 1 catch from Campbell. I think he can get that done. Taking his over 20.5 receiving yards. I'd play it up probably up to 22.5, maybe 23.5. Now, let's move on to my game pick. Normally, I track all of our spreads, and those are the majority of what we take, and I would lean the Colts, but I like this pick more. I like the over 42 points. It's currently minus 110 on DraftKings. You can play it at 42.5. Now, let's talk about this because it's going to be extremely unpopular. I know a lot of people's favorite picks is going to be the under, and for good reason. Let's talk about these trends. Colts have gone under in 9 straight games. Also, the teams have combined to go under in 7 of their 8 games so far this year, and 85% of the money is on the under. So I ask you guys, what could possibly go wrong? Everyone's on the under. These teams have keep hitting the under. Primetime unders are hitting kind of crazy. Everyone's going to be on it. Well, it doesn't make sense that this game would go over. This game has no, it just doesn't deserve to go over given how bad the offenses have been so far. But I do think they got a chance here because you look at Thursday Night Football. Fluky scores happen all the time. I'm old enough to remember when a Jets and Broncos game just 2 years ago, everyone hammered the under. And what was the final score in that game? 37-28 in a game with Sam Darnold and Drew Lock crazy things can happen on Thursday Night Football. With only 3, not even 4 days to really prepare for this, you don't really do any practice. And these are two defenses that just got manhandled. Whether you saw the Colts get manhandled by Derrick Henry, and you saw the Broncos get manhandled by Josh Jacobs and the Raiders. So these two defenses are banged up, and they're coming in here with really only a couple days to prepare, not a lot of days of rest. And I think we could see a lot of points here in a game that a lot of people aren't expecting points to be scored. We have to remember, this is a low over-under. If this was like 48.5, probably staying off of it, but you're going to be 42. That could be hit with a 24-20 type of score. Only a couple touchdowns can really get you easily hitting this, and we could see maybe Matt Ryan gift the Broncos defense or offense some great field position. I know the Colts are going to be without Jonathan Taylor, one of their best playmakers, but that could lead to them throwing it a little bit more. And also you look at the Broncos without Javonte Williams. These two teams could be throwing it more, which leads to obviously more completions, but potentially more incompletions, leading to the clock stopped, and we could lead to shorter drives, more drives for all the different teams in the game. We could see a lot more points in this one. So I like the over 42. I'd rather pick that than a side in this one. I'm not purely just fading where the money is, but I do think it's worth noting that Thursday night games are crazy and you never really know. So give me the over 42 points in that contest. Now, I know it's not going to be popular, but that's my favorite pick for that one. Now, let's talk about a same game parlay. It's going to be tough to hit one of these in this game, but here's what I kind of like. I like Jerry Jeudy, 50-plus receiving yards and an anytime touchdown, and Nyheim Hines, anytime touchdown. You can blind these three legs plus 1142 on FanDuel. Now, please only sprinkle on this because this is not my most confident same game parlay I've ever placed in my life, but this is a long shot. Let's talk about Jerry Jeudy. I've seen several bright minds and people that I respect on his over in receiving yards. So 50-plus receiving yards is basically his regular line. I'd like the odds of that. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, of the people I respect, have been putting out his over. They really think he does well against cover 3, which is what the Colts like to run, and he's been doing pretty well ever since, he did have that injury, which kind of halted him in weeks 2 and 3, but ever since then, in weeks 1 and 4, he's hit this pretty well. We see Cortland Sutton could get shadowed by Stephon Gilmore, the Colts' best cover corner, and I just think that Jeudy, he could easily get us 50-plus receiving yards on one play, and he already has 2 touchdowns on the year. Him getting another touchdown, not crazy to say. I think Jerry Jeudy has a good chance to have a pretty good game. He was my backup player prop if I were to pick on one. Russell Wilson over in rushing yards was an interesting one too, but those are 2 legs. Now, as for Hines, he always has a weird game or 2 on Thursdays where he scores 1, 2. I think he had a 3 touchdown game on a Thursday night. Now, look, Nyheim Hines obviously is the longest tenured running back in this system now that Jonathan Taylor's down for this game. I don't anticipate him getting the goal line work at the 1 or 2 yard line, but if they're in a 2-minute situation, they need a guy to run it in. Nyheim Hines is going to be out there. You also look at last week, obviously the Broncos struggled against Josh Jacobs, not only on the ground, but in the air. Nyheim Hines getting into the end zone. It's crazy. So crazy. It might happen. I like it for that same game parlay. We'll take those 3 legs and go for that plus 1100 value. Now, as for my first touchdown score, we hit last Thursday with Joe Mixon. Can we do it again? Go Melvin Gordon, first touchdown score, plus 700 on FanDuel. Now, for starters, if you're on Caesars, get off that buck. They're plus 410. Don't take that. Take the better odds on FanDuel. And this is obviously worth the sprinkle because you never really know. First touchdown scores can be anyone. But as far as fumbles go along, Melvin Gordon's been doing it a lot. He's been struggling, and I think the only way to get him back on track is to get him into the end zone. What's the best way to get a running back that's really struggling with confidence? Get him an early touchdown in this game. And the Broncos are going to need Melvin Gordon for the whole season. They need him to get back into groove with Javonte Williams going down for the year. So Melvin Gordon, I know he struggled, but likely to get that goal line work. I know Latavius Murray, the ex-UCF Knight, is now going to be in Denver, but I don't see him taking a lot of work away, especially at that goal line. I know Melvin Gordon has been fumbling. He fumbled at the goal line earlier on in this season, but I think Melvin has to get going. I think they give him a goal line touch, and he could also get one in the air. You never really know. So I think he gets a lot of work early in this game. Give me Melvin Gordon. And the fact is, if he does fumble and get benched in this game, well, we only needed him on the first drive. So he can fumble on the second drive for all I care. Melvin Gordon, first touchdown score, plus 700 odds. But that's on my favorite picks of this game. We're obviously riding with the over 42. Paris Campbell's over 20.5 receiving yards. Hopefully Paris doesn't make me look like an idiot, but those are my favorite picks. As always, those Sunday favorite picks, 3 of them for Sunday slate. Go check out that video. It's popping up on the screen. And remember, that DraftKings promo for all new users, if you sign up using our link down below, deposit $5, bet on any money line. As long as they win, you get their $200 worth of free bets. Go take advantage. Let's crush it on Thursday night and then crush it on Sunday. More videos popping up soon. We see you guys in the next one. Peace.